So, moving on. We looked at the press defense. Now, as you've seen, when executed perfectly, or well, the press defense is very hard to attack if you remain static. You might notice that I mentioned you cannot inhibit your opponent from swimming. You have to allow them to swim. When they're swimming, you shadow them. You are swimming on front of them, trying to predict their movements, not letting them clear in on goal. But you can't stop them. So, the arc is our main offensive formation. But there's a reason that we set it up beyond just knowing where everyone is. It's the basis of which all other offensive operations will begin from, and that may be complex language in the sense of you might not be used to that type of language. Essentially what I'm saying is you set up the arc and then everything happens from there. So every movement you make is coordinated to maximize your ability to score a goal. So, as I said, press, difficult to break. You have to protect the ball. If they're doing it right, you're not going to get passed off. So, someone has to get free. The way we do that is by driving. I'm assuming you're aware of that term. If you're not, don't worry. What a drive is essentially someone swimming in on goal and trying to get past their defender. If they get past their defender, brilliant. It's a one-on-one on goal. If they don't get past their defender, they are allowing other players to move into their position. So they're swimming, so suddenly the defender isn't right on top of them, and it means that they can open up space to receive a pass, get a free, maybe take a shot. So without further ado, we shall begin.
Area, and we're in our front court balance in our 3-3. Give the point at 3 is popped out behind 2 and 4. We're basically in our front court balance.
Sorry, and I'll just as a reminder, 1, 6, 5. They are always on 2 meters. The only time 1 or 5 will come out of 2 meters is to get a shooting angle, which we will look at later. But for the setup, 1, 6, and 5 have to be on 2 meters. 2 and 4 should generally be on 6 meters, and 3 should be on 7. The reason 2 and 4 are on 6 meters are if you get a free inside 6 meters, you cannot shoot from it. So if they're playing a full press and you get a free in 5 meters on 2, you can't shoot, and they have a full press, so you just have to play the ball. If you get a free on 6 meters as 2 or 4, they're good shooting positions. 3 is the best shooting position, but 2 and 4 are very, very good ones. The reason that 2, 3, and 4 aren't in a line is because if you see here, if there's a line here, 2 will not be able to pass to 4 because they can't see them. Furthermore, 3's defender will be here to block the ball from 2. So, oh wait, I'm just realizing. Okay, so 2 will have the ball. If 3 and 4 are in a line, 3's defender can block all of the shots. So, with that in mind, you have to have 3 being a meter behind to open that sight line.
Our philosophy on offense is to move. We want to be mobile. We want to have everyone comfortable handling the ball. We'd like to distribute scoring opportunities throughout the front court offense, both score from the perimeter, score on the drive, and score from 2 meters. So we want to distribute the ball throughout our range of options in the front court offense.
That is a fancy way of saying to pass around the arc.
The first thing that the movement does, though, is also create opportunities at 2 meters. So if the ball is here at the wing, we're not able to get the ball into set. We want to start with a drive from the 3 position. It can be to either side.
So, essentially, what he's saying is, okay, look, 5 has the ball. You're not going to make any pass there. You have to move. Water polo is a very difficult game. It's very skilled and it's very endurance intensive. You're going to be swimming up the pool, swimming down the pool to set up offense, set up defense. Once you've set that up, it's not a break. Honestly, the swimming could be considered more of a break, in the sense of swimming is at least consistent. When you have set up in formations, you have to have bursts of energy. You have to be constantly pushing with egg beater, constantly fighting for your position, and then you have to burst, sprint to try and create new positions. So there isn't really a break.
If it is to the power side, to the one side, we can certainly look for a pass coming across to the driver. That's fairly high risk, won't often be successful. But as we're driving here, we also create releasing opportunities into that open space for the players at 1 and 2, who can then release for the ball. So now we should be able to get a clear passing lane to the player who was at 2, now at 3 or coming toward 3. Same with the player here at 2 who released up from 1. Notice these are great entry pass angles into 2 meters. Any pass into 2 meters, though, needs to be done from an aggressive scoring posture. So if this ball does come from 5 to 3 and now to 2, and we're looking to get the ball into 2 meters, of course, generally a 2-meter defense, the defender will overplay on the left shoulder of a right-hander, giving us a great angle for an entry pass. We don't want to throw the ball into a 2-meter player if we can't throw it to a point directly opposite the defender, such that the 2-meter player's nose is facing the ball. We don't want to throw the ball in this case, from 4, where the 2-meter defender has an equal opportunity at the ball, or even necessarily from 3. 2 is a great entry angle, given where this 2-meter defender is. When we do have this ball over at 2, looking for the entry pass to 2 meters, we need to think about establishing a threatening position, having a scorer's mentality, ball underneath, legs underneath us, ball up high and strong, attacking in, threatening the goal, getting the goalie, getting the entire defense to believe that we are going to shoot, that we have a full range of options before putting the ball into 2 meters. We'd like to put the ball on a line down into 2 meters rather than floating it in. But in any case, we want the ball here away from this defender. So our driving then has set up releases which can play the ball into set. Now the other advantage of having the ball at 5 to begin our front court offense is that, as with the counterattack, we can drive into this area here, this heart of the scoring zone for a right-hander, if they can get ball side. So we get the defense to honor here, and we can look for this drive. We talked about 3 driving to the 1 side. Now we look for 3 to drive over here to the 5 side. It's their choice. There's no hard and fast rule about it. They see how the defender is playing.
Okay, so you can drive from, generally, drives will come from the outside. And so when I say outside, you probably know this, but it's just better to be clear. The inside line is 2 meters. That's 1, 6, 5. The outside line is 2, 3, 4. Drives will come from the outside 99% of the time. There are very, very few times where you're going to actually want to drive inside. But they do exist. But we'll get onto them much later. Generally, it is going to be the fullback or number 3 who is the offensive coordinator. Generally, they're also a defensive coordinator in conjunction with the goalkeeper. But generally, number 3 is the one who will call the plays. Other players can call plays, don't get me wrong, but 3 is the most commanding position, because you'll see, as with shot angles and their central position, it allows them the clearest field of view, but it also allows them the best range of options, so they will generally be the ones who make these decisions. So that you will see that it's very difficult to play that 3 position, and you can't just say, oh, that's the wholeback, because as you saw earlier, once the wholeback makes this drive, the rest of the offense on the side of the drive to have to push around, and then suddenly 2 or 4 are going to be playing that 3 position. So it's important everyone pays attention to what 3 has to do. And all opposition has to do, to be honest, because if you know what the opposition is trying to accomplish, you can prevent them from doing it.
If the defender is overplaying this side, more than likely you'd want to come to this side. Seeing that advantage, we'd want 1 out wide. We'd want our 2-meter player to slide away from the player driving ball side. Now with this advantage, we play the ball in as a right-hander, should have a very good shooting opportunity to this on this right post. So our movement creates a scoring opportunity. Our movement creates a passing opportunity, which then allows an entry pass to 2 meters. So we can see how a driver is available to score and how the 2-meter player is able to score. The other way we can drive is by combining those 2 things. So we talked about the entry pass from 2 into 2 meters. There will be times, certainly when we get the ball in to 2 meters, where a common foul is called. We then have a free pass, obviously, at 2 meters. In anticipation of this foul...
Yeah, so a very good wholeback, when they are in... that position isn't great for wholeback, because you are right behind the whole forward. It's a lot of the times you're likely to get excluded if you are stuck in that position and you don't have any of the defensive players dropping back. A very good wholeback will just give away a common foul, because once a common foul is given, they cannot shoot, and that's the best position to shoot from. So he says in anticipation of the foul, you have to be careful of that. Because if you swim in and there's no foul, you're just letting your player swim straight past you and go for a 1-on-1. So I would wait until the foul is fairly certain to be called. I wouldn't risk it too much, because once the ball's in the hole, if they're crashing the hole, which as you saw earlier means everyone's swimming in back to help defend, if the whole back if your whole forward manages to pass it out to 2 or 4, then that's a good time to make a drive. If the ball's gone in and the whole back looks like the whole forward looks like they're going to lose the ball, I wouldn't be driving in.
We'd like the player at 3 to get ready to drive. As the ball arrives at set, and it's clear we aren't really going to get a turn into the goal, that there very well may be a common foul, we'd like 3 to start moving forward and set up for a drive. Needs to be explosive on any drive from here. To be able to beat a defender from the 7 to 8 meters requires an extremely explosive start. Rapid hand movement and a lot of leg support driving this explosive move. So we can then make a move in, preferably go to the dry side on the left post for a right-hander. The right hand would be on the near side, so the pass can be thrown dry from the 2-meter player. In this case, common foul at 2 meters, drive in from 3, able to make an assist, provided we can beat this defender with a 1-on-1 move. It could be also that drive is more appropriate to the right post. As a right-hander, it's going to be a pass that's thrown wet just outside the shoulder, and have to be adept and quick getting the ball up to get a shooting opportunity. Another opportunity that comes, and again, all this based on having the ball at 5. We can run picks if we're not...
Okay, so now the ball doesn't always have to be a 5. You're lucky in the sense that you have left-handed players, and they generally will play in 5, which prevents them from getting stuck in the corner. and just being pressed out. But generally, unless you're about to set up for this drive, even if you are, 2 and 4 generally are better players to have the ball, because 2 and 4 have a lot more free water. You see 5 and 1 can be pushed back into a corner, pushed into the wall. That's not going to happen to 2 and 4. So while you can give the balls to the corners, generally you're better off having it on the outside. It's also easier for the outside. It's easier for your whole forward to gain a more favourable position on the outside. It's easier for 2 and 4 generally to pass to each other on the outside because they can give wet passes. It's much harder to give a wet pass to those 2 corners. Sorry, I know this has been a long video, but I want you to fully understand at least that concept of the drive. And we'll move on to what are called picks next week. And picks is the American term for it. An easier term is probably screening, if you've ever heard of that.